Hi everyone, this is Evelyn and I have 11 messages of the day I wanted to try to bring you. Probably not all in one video. And I'm outside, so we'll give it a shot, see what happens. And this will start from right after Easter, so April 10th through the 20th today. And they're all set up the same way. I'll show you each read as I do it. And today is what is today? Today's the 20th. I probably just said that. And this first message of the day is from, and this is the read right here. And this is from the 10th. So there'll be one each day through the 20th. And they're all set up the same way. On the left is the underlying energy. 3 cards are usually pulled, and if there's more, it's adding into the cards at the end, which I usually count, but also use the messages in the read. So the underlying energy is 3 cards, and then the pile, which I use for numerology reasons. Okay, so this is our first read. We have that top deck is the Fortunes Oracle, and then Metatron, and then the Tea Leaves, and then the Wild Unknown, and then my half deck of Rider-Waite at the bottom with just mostly the characters in it. So this first read was done on April 10th, and I pulled the cards from 928 to 933. The 28 is the 2 of Wands, the twin flame energy, through the 33 of the Christ vibration, which is also the 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself without getting triggered. And the numbers that came up from the piles at the end were 12812 and 12813, which usually, if they're above the thousands, they're too big for gematria to get any kind of entry. But the energies from the numbers were coming up as the leap of the twin to hang out and transition, the divine masculine, divine feminine dance with the divine masculine, divine feminine, and transition, the dance between wise bookends, pillars, and poles. 2 wise perspectives merge and transition, and there's that energy of JC and Mary Magdalene have left the building. So at 936, which is the Hermit and the Atlas energy of the 10 of Wands and the weight of the world, the underlying energy was the Star, 29, 41 as above, so below. The Clouds card, the Owl, the Crow, and the King of Wands, number 23. And this is how it went. Hard times are over. Gifts are here. Happiness and enthusiasm. Positivity. The ship is in. Reflecting pink willows as the Ace of Cups, Holy Grail. Seeing your own compassion and having it reflected back to you. A temporary issue as the clouds roll by and never stay, with good advice from a wise person, or owls and crows, the gate holders of Earth Terra, or ET, and the King of Wands, human being, where ING is to wobble, the water meadow, the ink in the house, and the shirt. The hue of human is to see or discern, the fence post as well, the stilts, the penis, the I am, the sympathy, the mind, expressing strong emotion, and feeling cold, and steam as well. So the King of Wands, colorful, discerning, expressive man, at his post, his I am sympathetic mind, and the bee house, bee ink, currently to wobble in the watery meadow as flowering expression swings back and forth, present to new love and compassion as the clouds move to reveal the birds of a feather, on branches, on guard, at gate, at post, as the King of Wands looks back, seeing justice served. And that was at 951, the Hermit and the King of Swords. So the number 12812 was coming up as very special people have a gold or silver aura. If you have one of these rare aura colors, you are highly evolved spiritually and may have recently achieved enlightenment. And that was coming up from Gematria. 12813 came up as Willow. What could a demon possibly want from me? Xander wants the square root of EIGH, which actually translates to ice. And it doesn't say 100, it just says EIGH, so not 8 completely. And then 141 Willow 29. Oh yeah. So number 2 And he, humbled tree, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did the fathers know, that he might wake thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by Eve. So that was again coming up from gematria, so it doesn't really make sense, that one, but whatever you get from it, that's what you should take away. And if it doesn't resonate, that's fine. We just bring up the gematria entries for fun, and if I get any messages from it, I'll share them with you. So being that it was 410, the reflection of 10:4, which is message received, perhaps message sent or not received yet. Hello, bee. I see you. I see you. The bees are out here trying to see why I'm sitting here. The underlying energy at 9:58 is the 4 of birth and the 24 of patience, the 32 of transformation and the 8 of the dragonfly, the 25 of the phoenix and the 29 of the star. As the Emperor Queen of Wands journey and dance with the Knight of Wands and presence of the dragonfly phoenix star, 2 as 1 rising star. And the lambda leap, and the lambda is the number 4, as I referred to the lamb and the father, the lambda leap to omega to transform, strong and manifesting dreams of the dragon flying, rising as the brightest star, birthing patience of possibilities to slow down, to change your attitude and clear your mind, and break the chains with confidence, renewal, and connection to spirit, rising again from the fire to take your place among the stars, front and center, present, and leading the way. And then at 10:05 there is getting relay message, like pass it on. And then the next card was abundance with plain and mountain of 126 and 22. The divine masculine magic, young and inspired, to leap and climb. Good times in a fulfilling journey, knowing you're protected, yet cautious at the same time. At 10:08, which is that energy of 10 and 8 and 18 of high, and the challenge being here, the code 10:8, so CB code 10:8 as opposed to 10:4 means it's in service. They just signed on, or they came into range, and then mountain range was coming up. A bunch of stars come together in abundance and travel to the mountain, or excited to rise to new heights, overcome all obstacles, the highest of mountains. Tuned into frequency band, found channel to receive the star that rises, new places of existence, seeing new planes, and making pacts with our galactic family, a huddle, hands together, bringing together multiple planes of existence, taking off to the stars, that the mountain range receives you. The mountain is fixed, the star is cardinal, and the plane is mutable here. The sun home with 30 and union, the UN connection of Sophia and Christ, the wisdom and unconditional love of she and he. To use is dumb, coming in as the divine Om. The low holy place of offering, which is love, L-O and V-E. The two vine primordial sound in a very low tone at 10:19, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the sun, at 0 point field, plane taking off. Destined to the sun, open your heart to enormous growth ahead, as sunflowers watch the sun and treetops watch the range, or they're coming up as matching the sun and matching the range. Swords in the stone of sun's rays and earth's mountains, that which reaches out to another, some denser than others. Stars inspire the collective to rise to the occasion and realize that our planet is a ship calling home. Gilligan's Island, I'll be coming round the mountain when she comes, in a range of peaks and valleys that are all connected inside at the core. The everlasting battery at the core, the pit, the seed of existence, what has value, not just val-E, as in the valley, where VAL is to fall, the valley, the voucher, okay, the RAMpart. As the RAMpart comes up as Aries, a wall-like ridge to prepare a barrier to protect. And the BULwark are both definitions of Val, so both the bull and the ram come up here as Aries and Taurus. The tree trunk, the fortify, the diffuse and protection. A steep coastline, the battlefield, the plain and the downfield. A case, nightfall, trap. A ploy, a snare, a catfish. East Indian weight for silver and gold. To choose, elect, quality and veil. Depression, lie and farewell. Light wave and undulation, worth, whale, and casualties of war. So the val is the rampart and the bulwark, where valley is also coming up with value, VAL-E and VAL-U. The rampart and the bulwark, to fall in the East Indian weight of silver and gold, which also came in up in that line of gematria. To prepare the stronghold is to prepare for war, where love is a battlefield at nightfall. A trap, catfish, undulation of light and wave, or worth and whale as the casualties of opposition. As the valley is a cup that holds in the space between the mountains its sides to hold it in. The ups and downs as opposed to the plains and Jane. Oh, that's so funny, because I just watched with my daughter again, Closer, and in that movie, Natalie Portman she never uses her real name, and in the movie she says, "I'm Jane, plain Jane." So this comes up again regarding that. That's funny. So the ups and downs as opposed to the plains and Jane, because the one who moves mountains causes mountains to quake in their boots, and then the boots constellation came up here, is the spirits that trigger to get them to face their fears once and for all. Remember, fear is only of the unknown, but with full light cast from every direction, there is no doubt that all eyes see. Sirius A, Lee. Sirius B, still with a little nightshade, the ABCs of emotionally. To stand in the valley with the shadow of the mountain means the mountain is on guard, and so you can't see what's coming. You are trusting them to take that responsibility, and in doing that, you must be vulnerable to trust that they'll do right by you. For if that mountain shakes and cracks, a whole mountain of fear will come tumbling down in an avalanche, where Ava in avalanche comes up as well, where Ava is the opening or the hole out to lunch and left their post. If there were no mountains, you could see for miles, but also fully exposed to the element, which is fire, as long as it is all of love, and people stop making a mountain out of a molehill, and take responsibility for their own actions and fears and wounds, knowing what appears they have made manifest. Father, they know not what they do, the strength and power they possess, to create with their thoughts without checking in with the heart first. So at 10:55 is the Wheel of Fortune and the Truth, and the 27 in the underlying energy of Metatron, the rainbow, or the wind beneath their wings. The support system, or psi stem. The psi and path of M, which is co-creation. M is 1, 1, and V in the middle. The stem of his, or its, or she, and the I, as in what you see with. The stitch and the mother to sew. She, his, its, and theirs. One to fall back on, to be there when you sleep. 2027, and new inspiration to dance, to be strong and lead. With flame in hand, rings and keys in the other, on the spiral steps to answer the call. The 47 of blessings and thanks, and the 47 also being the heart to the crown, the 4 to 7, blessings and thanks for the heart to crown that brought you to the high heart, number 8. From 2 to 7, and 7 to 8 eventually, the Queen's boomerang to the Divine Masculine's cave and back, to weave a continuous connection. The dance with sudden gold, which gold is the spiral of the wise one, which is God, the cup filled with infinite light. The food that was for 7, the crucifixion, for 16 or 2 8s to happen. So again, Easter being 4/9, it was bringing up the crucifixion on Friday 4/7 into Easter. So again, the food that was 4/7, or the crucifixion, for the 16 of the Tower in sudden events, or 2 8s, to happen, and fold in upon themselves. 2 8s that lay down after giving thanks for the abundant food to raise your vibration and to allow codependent tree and split to collapse in upon itself as the trunk clears straight down to the root. At the holidays, the holy days, a big opportunity to clear family issues, to reflect with love and compassion. As above, so below, with each reaching out, you get closer, as I brought up the movie Closer, to the root of the problem. So if you're watching, you may be being called to watch that movie. There may be a message there for you. So the first card here is the 40 of Evolution and the Page of Cups, Birthing the New. How a new child brings the family together to see things differently. The 2 of the Divine Feminine High Priestess, review and reflect. Time out needed in the purple moon with plane overhead. Working on a nova event. The 26, which is the Page of Wands, to the 5D station 22. Ascending to station to stabilize with solar flash at full power by 30. Not all at once, but increments we can handle. In 26, a significant one, a huge heart opening and leap of faith, a serious pulsing or reaching out in 29, prior to the full power of the sun and brightening with more light here than ever before. And again, they're referencing, the messages I was getting is they were referencing these years as being the years that we will have very significant light flashes coming in. There was a nova in 22, aligned over a huge mountain that absorbed a lot of it, so far that its effects are delayed. 23, 26, 29, and 30, perhaps 29 is full tilt, as the percentage of hands together significantly shifts there at 1122, which is the alignment of justice, and the 22 of the Fool with an open heart taking that leap of faith. But it's also the 22 of the 5D stationing, where you can leap off in any direction, and then the 11 of instant manifestation. The 5D 22, stationing to 11, 6D, instant manifestation, to the 30 of as the heavens shine oh so brightly. There's that of the 30. The mountain of 22, the plane of 26, the star of 29, and the sun of 30. Experiencing what the sunflower truly means. Patience through 24, with Phoenix rising 25, 23 of the owl. And then the 36 comes up. It's like 25, the fire is lit to rise 26, 27 proposal, 28 to dance, and 29 with the stars, 30 home. And 36 is the inner child atlas, the map of intent to hear and know them, reflecting compassion and innocent sweet heart as she sits in the valley of Atlas, wanting to be heard by the lady of the lake. As I was just losing my voice a little bit there. With 2 cards coming up, the 32 and the 31, the journey to the sun via the tree of life. In transformation of light and dark, knowing the shadow stands behind you, wanting to be seen. The journeyman wanting to be seen by the waves of flames on their journey to the sun, as a bee just went under my hand like a minute ago. At 11:39 is Justice and the Knight of Cups. So here with Justice and the Knight of Cups, or alignment and the Knight of Cups, the underlying energy of the cracked cup or spilt milk, and the coins, the cobwebs, and the clouds. Cracked cup, coins, cobwebs, something in the clouds, perhaps the club in the clouds, or spilt milk. After dissatisfaction, money comes, protected from negative forces beyond your control, trying to force your hand, but will or has cleared just as the clouds have, or do, with May and April, and March in parentheses, rolling back the clouds to reveal their temporary nature. Come what may, shower and March at 11:45, which is my time of birth, which is justice and the Five of Cups of the purge, the sadness, the loss, the underlying energy of the purse, the pineapple, and the pin, and the pig, peacock, and the parrot, the pail and the owl. You've been watching finances and resonating, perhaps a new job or career, a chore. Beware of greed and pride and gossip, and knowing when to bail with good advice from a wise person. The first card out here is the seahorse, the scissors, the scales, the rose, the rooster, the ring, the pet and the ram and the rainbow, the rabbit and the quill. As family matters with disappointment, dealing with scales, with romance in the air, an arrogant rooster you should not cross, and a marriage to take place, but there may be a rat in your midst and a ram who's aggressive and stubborn, and they could be the same person. And then the worst is over at 11:51 with the King of Swords, and that could be a Libra King of Swords, with rabbit too concerned with sexual matters. Get back to the basics or pick up a pen, light as a feather, after dealing with multiple people of arrogance or unreliable or untrustworthy and or aggressive and stubborn. Focus on family love, and remember this was back on 410. Focus on family love, perhaps romance or journaling. Remember in Aries and Taurus are rammy and stubborn, to trigger others to get going, to break winter's ice, so to speak. So the underlying energy at 11:56 is Scorpion triggered or triggering after the eagle dove and the crocodile lay in wait, the mouse hiding and the raccoon depressed. And this always reminds me of Jungle Land, right? The poets are doing this and the bad guys are doing this, and it's like Scorpion giving a bit of a jump to the stingray who's plugged in, or activating the hyena who's not so happy to oblige, still waking up or on the fence about moth to the flame, and the crow who's on guard, or Taurus feeling the Aries/Scorpio push, right, because they're on the same axis. Excuse me, they're not. So Taurus is feeling the Aries and Scorpio push. So we have Taurus in the north node, Scorpio in the south, and then we're in Aries. Or I don't know when we switched to Taurus, but we're right at the cusp right now. But the Taurus feeling of Aries, Scorpio push that rumbles. However, the crow is at their post. At 12:01, the first card here is the bear, the bee who meet up, slow to get started, but bee is a hard worker. Or bear is late to work with carpenter waiting, or Taurus awakened by bees and irritated by buzzing, or bear market buzzing, with the cobra on high alert to see what they could see. When the bunny is ready, the teacher will come to teach them how to multiply, or child who's nervous around bees and snakes, or bear and crow keeping them away from them or causing their fear in the first place. At 12:05 is the hanging man and the Hierophant, and the underlying energy of the Knight of Swords rushing back, or charges tempted by the King of Swords, or multiple truths, or the past that brings out the devil in him. Perhaps sleepless in Seattle, or unable to sleep, or bad weather. The nightmare stress with the Empress lover, or the Capricorn, Taurus, and Gemini here, or the Empress or Taurus or mother offering all of their love to the world, the Divine Feminine or Pisces, neighbor or children, with the Page of Pentacles, student or offer, invite, or neighborly kindness extended, and the Page of Pentacles inviting. The Six of Cups getting their wish, the innocent children, as the Dark Knight and the Knight of Pentacles approach with offers for the Nine of Pentacles sovereign catch, or Scorpio and Earth, or siblings connect, given a choice by the Queen of Wands, who got advice from the Hermit King of Pentacles in a bold move to the Queen of Swords. Or the King of Pentacles is traveling to see Or pick up the Queen of Swords with the Page of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles, or two moms and their kids, or the Queen of Swords receives a message and is inspired by the Queen of Pentacles and their connection with the magician, with magic, with all their tools on board, and setting the Emperor free. And my lawnmower guys showed her up right at that point. Or the Queen of Pentacles 1-to-1 with Gemini or Virgo and Aries and Libra, or legislative branches or partners perform, feeling freed by the sun, working outside, a walk with a friend, as the Emperor and Justice, or Aries and Libra, on their thrones, looking to be replaced by the King of Wands, or having trouble finding young ones to fill their positions, or to take jobs of great responsibility at 12-21. Or the King of Wands is looking back at the heaviness of his life, with little lizard on his platform waiting to fill his shoes at a crow's distance. At 12-24, the Hanging Man and the Queen of Wands, the King of Cups and the Page of Cups with loving connection, and the wounded warrior outside of this, envious or defensive, or wondering how to get that kind of connection, or have a child who wants to be just like their father. At 12-27, bringing in the Ace of Wands, the last cards here are the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Wands to protect them. Or does the Knight of Wands actually want to play? Water looking to be more fiery, and fire more thirsty for water here, or emotion of relationship. Or fire still chasing a past dream, while water is enjoying the spring. Okay, so that is the message for the first message of the day from the 10th. All right. So, message number 2. This is from the 11th. And here is the read. Hopefully there's not too much reflection there. Okay, so we have the top deck is Nature's Whispers, and then Metatron, and then we have the tea leaves. The Lenormand, Reverie, and the Kipper decks are combined in that next row, and then the half deck of Rider-Waite at the bottom. And then we have Fortune's Oracle here as well, that I put up over here. Okay, so this is read number 2. So at 10:22 to 10:27, these cards were pulled. The 22 of the Fool, and the 27 of the Ace of Wands, and all of those in between. So the King, Queen, Knight, and Pages of Wands. So a lot of fire energy right there. And the cards at the end came up as 1100-313 and 1100-1414. So Metatron supporting both the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine as the middleman with truth and balance. Justice alignment, and alignment was coming up as a line, which is also an arc between 2 points of intent. 3 leaps to 3, 2 birds flying east with support system. A major source alignment with 2 angels side by side and heart to heart. And 1100 I looked up, which had in Gematria, God wins, Revelations, Sweet, Roosevelt, Blackout Necessary, TWT, Roper times 4, ROPAR, Psalm 185, the 5 of Pentacles, WTT, God's Will, 2020, Hypocrisy, Simply Saxes, SAXSCH came up, Woo, Awaken Them, You Must Decide, 7 Up, Jay-Z, Arranged Marriage by the Lord, and God Wins. So that was all coming up under 1100. So some other numbers came up with those numbers since they were so long and they wouldn't come up in Gematria was 313, 1414, and 414. So 313 was the Cross Hex Magdalene bloodline, Cosmos Gematria, Bill Clinton, Sapphire, the Father, Eternal Flame, and then Pathfinder. 1414 was Gateway, the Way, Michael Lavon Robinson, and a co-owner stone. The Sword and the Egg, The Love of My Life, and then 414 was Exit number 1, America First, Yeah, the Kids of Edom, or excuse me, the Kings of Edom. They could be the Kids of Edom. the Torah Code, Reptilians, Sonic Booms, Rockstar, Traditional, Behind the Scenes, and Lake Huron. Ruach also came up, R-U-A-C-H, and the Elohim. And Ruach literally means breath. And again, there's energy of creative activity there. The principle of creation, and YHVH comes up in the Divine Feminine Masculine lap dance, which is that 3D dance, where the I am energy is rolled over in the beginnings of the do-si-do of the 8 to fall into infinity and the whole. So when the Elohim came up here, that the Electric Light Orchestra always comes up for me with Elohim, with ELO, and the hymn, which is the hymn, the song. So Electric Light Orchestra hymn, the human arch, a path of ray. And then love, which I said already, LO is low, and then VE is the holy place of offering. The lambda leap of the number 4 to the human avatar in the holy place of offering, with birth contractions, expanding to contract, breathe in to breathe out, and find diastolic pressure, which then is your resting place. So diastolic is the number, the low number of your blood pressure, and then systolic is your high number. So the diastolic is the resting pressure, and the systolic is your active pressure. But it was having me break down systolic and diastolic. So the psi is the mother, she, so, stitch, I, to be, victory, and size, triumph, to hold, and success. There's some other words that came up with that. But the energy of I stole, I, mother, victorious path, ol, which is thief as well, the friend, the cooking pot, to be, to have, to play, whole, healthy, and old, to smell, a thief. She stole your breath away, is to trust. And again, stole can come up as like a mink stole, a rap. To rely on the chair, the throne. Sophia at the Y in the road, in order to trust, stole your throne, your table, and breath away. To be, have, and play with friend. To smell the cooking pot, her wrap, her stole. To have and to hold around her shoulders after the weight of the world fell upon them. So the Daya is he, she, you, heaven, sky, day, godly, divine cry, to make working animal turn left, to delay wild step journey, mark, imprint, expensive, water, deer, both deers, D-E-A-R and E-E-R. And again, diastole, God's cry to make the animal turn or advance left, the lambda leap, again of the L, and stealing away, to S-Y or sigh, thus stealing breath, to die without breath, or D-Y-E, a stole to comfort you with, a heavenly stole, a breath in to relax, to heavenly bliss at resting pressure, just enough to keep you alive. And at the top I was getting justice prevails in mother's transition to be with their twin or angelic realm. The underlying energy at 1124, which is justice and the Queen of Wands. With the 26th, the first card, which is the Page of Wands, to be true to your heart, of ether and gold, or rather earthy, like earthen energies like browns and gold with peacock colors. The 46, which is the 6 of Cups, the innocent children, just for a moment joy, childlike and free with arms up in the air, breathing pressure and underlying pressure of the inner child, the systolic and the diastolic, and then IC at the end of each is inner child. The younger man and the wise owl align and hit the jackpot, 11777, sudden wealth with a full house, and 3 boomerangs, boom, E-rang, times 3, 3 directional waves with 2 left for later. The diastole and the systole and the diastole, breathing in causing pressure, expansion, breathing out causing release from pressure, in contracting, able to then rest in peace, knowing. Locking in an underlying rate will get at least this, but can have more too. The 777 is a risky thing. The 11 is a sure thing, unless that risk takes away the sure thing, the alignment, with nothing to come home to, taken for granted, assuming it will always be there to fall back on if this other thing doesn't work out, a lack of faith, where a choice must be made to be stealth or keep your secrets, to steal your breath away. As the Page of Wands and 6 of Cups playmate, the younger man and the wise owl all of a sudden click into place as the 3 sevens align for sudden wealth and justice with the King of Cups, which is also unconditional love. The Page of Wands and the King of Cups, the Lion's Heart and the Sweetheart, fire and water and Libra balance as the younger man on a slippery slope. At 11:45, again the time of my birth, representing the feminine's time of birth, and the underlying energy of the 46, the 6 of Cups, and the little girl who's a unicorn in complete rainbow bridge around the moon. The 17 with the star and the fairy dust and dreams coming true, with infinite blessings and the culmination of the wounded warrior's vision of earth only without die vision, where winter ends with renewal from the wounded warrior to the Page of Wands, springing into action, waking to new inspiration. A new ship seen in the distance is approaching as 2 ships leave. In a conch shell, as opposed to a nutshell all wrapped up, the little girl grows up, remaining true to her heart at 11:51 of Justice and the King of Swords. And again, that could be Libra King of Swords again. The first card here is the 30 of the Union Adventure, bridging mountains with the conch shell that spirals and expands, multifaceted, bridging in the algae, the moss and seaweed, and the dross, which you both know is healthy for you, and iodine, or iodine source. The conch and the semi-dome of the church's throne, or the apse. A protective covering here, and the avatar, the high road of one, the mother bridging all of her children to make sure they stay in touch, the common denominator that infiltrates all as the Page of Wands comes home across states, cities, or countries, and the 9 of the Hermit with the perfect setting for the sun to come out and shine upon the valley below at 12:01, the Hanging Man and the Magician, showing it's okay to fall. In the BULwark and the RAMpart, the battlefield that includes a steep coastline and plain downfall, a trap, a snare, a ploy, a catfish, weighing your silver and gold, the quality of your choice, election, veil, the light, the case, the inlet, the shallow bay, and the wave. A pit collects water or dead bodies on an area that is abandoned after the war or covered up, trying to be forgotten. And there's definitely been energy all week about hallowed ground and graveyards being dug up. The worth and undulation, the whale and the casualties of war, the fallen, the lungs filling up with water, an ant that drowned, the ship that takes on water. Trapped between 2 mountains, there is no escape or release. There must be a hole drilled or bridge over troubled water to lay oneself down to get across. To be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause, to go into the block, to come out the other side, to see what you could see. To rest without breathing deep is to go underwater without trying to hold your breath. To be willing to surrender completely and then find an underwater tunnel to a clearing. You can climb a mountain or let the water show you a way out. Do you need to control, or can you allow the Mother Nature to show you the way to play? But all is okay, as the 40 is the Page of Cups to show your support to them. The Page of Wands is home with the Hermit, and the Page of Cups, the fairies and the flowers, the bluebird and the man in the canoe at 12:21. Just a stone's throw away, home on the range, between shore and mountains, hills and gardens, and the valley between, comes the 12 of the hanging man and expansion in hand fasting to hold two worlds together, the 12 of the divine masculine and the divine feminine from each other's perspectives, meeting in the middle. The two, writing two capital A's, but in a curved way, again brings up that angel, that energy of the archangels with the bridges across the mountains. Seeing the two mountains joined beneath, two expressions of the same rock or star or stone or stein, and the mug that's filled with blue dye. The word STAIAEINN also came up. The stars, the saint, the path of the ash, which in Pleiadian means bright light, according to Elena Denon, and the inn, the place of the golden child, the path of one. So this energy of Sophia's S words comes up as we talk about stone and stain and stein. Sophia's S words of TEIN, TAIN, and tone. The offshoot, the mushroom or back room, cold, tool, spindle, and woman, reflecting the foil in the back room, where their share to stretch a point in time and tone and one. The S word or the sword is the truth entering the room to set you free. The digamma, re, the ancient ones. The rock to the core in the mush room where the truth lives at 1244, the hanging man and the energy of the Four of Cups, which is also Hercules or her harvest. That you've always been together underground, working the way out to double rainbows and hot air balloons by 4s and 12 by 12s or 144s. The arc of 4 by 4s, a bridge, and the B of bridge is the transite ridge, the transition ridge, the ridge to rid energy, or in other words, to drop. I'll be done in a second, honey, and I'll take you in, okay? At 1248 is the hanging man, and the 48 of going within, the underlying energy of the 44 in the rings of time, of Thoth in a wheelchair, and the 54 of the Page of Swords, Earth Angel, the messenger of her harvest, Hercules, the harbinger of change. As he sits and she pulls up the blankets, and blank ETs was coming up here for blankets, the 64 in sensual awakening, to the 46, the reflection of that, the bliss of the inner child, and just for a moment, joy, allowing all the light in. The Earth Angel making their bed while reliving the bliss of the joy with their best mate. And the first card here is 32 and 16, the journey to the center of the earth. Devotion to the small and sudden heart of the moment, with sudden moment within as a helicopter goes over at 1253, the Knight of Swords. The 14 of the, you hear the train blowing. The 14 of the falling light, light as a feather, the patient angel. 2 the 56 of the Two of Swords, and the dance of the planets, where the blank ETs, now with a plan for ETs, play nets, hand in hand through the spiral of Never Never Land, into the vortex, the core, falling in upon oneself, into your other self. At 1256, the underlying energy of all the material things in a bowl. And it was so funny when I wrote that, because Teddy just walked by his toy bin, and I had told him that I love him. The bow. You are highly thought of here. The dog close up in pleasure, and this was because the card dog came up, not because of Teddy, but the dog close up in a pleasure with a close friend, dealing with a younger man, a relationship, perhaps ponytails. Or perhaps your dog wants a ponytail too. Where the first card here is the hills. The hills are alive with the sound of music. And obstacles to overcome to get to Lily. to spiritual love. The lightning or control, it's calling you to control your anger or you will be sorry, especially a young man here. And at 1 o'clock or double zeros of source energy backing up the 1 of the magician or the divine masculine is the purse, to pay attention to your finances or purse strings. The pineapple of reconciliations and 50 first dates, and the pin of the new job. Beware of greed, and pig and pride with the peacock, and parrot who will gossip about all of your secrets. The pail, which is time to bail, with owl's good advice, and the seahorse where family matters, with scissors and disappointment in some affair, or cut flowers, as a helicopter went over, again. Scales keep your life in balance, and musical scales come up as well, as the lion, as Teddy yawned at that moment, 32, 34, and 29, to transform the unity star, the journey and the arrows of love and energetic exchange present to the star, breaking chains to hand fast, 3 to 3 for 2, all, change compassion and dreams fulfilled, as the 31 thorns of weathering the challenges together for new and positive future here. At 1:14, after the wounded warrior, his wish of their heart ready for their dreams to come true, the 20 of marriage attracting unconditional love, and destined 10 of fire, so that you, 3, will be careful who you trust at this time, harnessing the loyal and protective aura of the lion and charge ahead magnificently. At 1:17, which is the divine masculine and magician and the star again, the underlying energy of the 28 of the choice of path or twin flame, and the ace of cups of the loving man who turned their back on the energetic exchange, or in a busy job with the queen of wands thief, or one who stole their heart to crack the family codes, as the 29 power lady with truth and gifts, and presently looking out the window from family room, feeling whole and complete. The Queen of Wands and the Page of Cups of swan love and man with sudden thoughts of a woman and sudden alignment with wealth and feeling like they've hit the jackpot with fire, Pisces, Scorpio, and Libra here. The first next card is the 35 of the Wounded Warrior's Path, lined with transformation through the woods to nest the dream, with the Queen of Cups exposing death, endings, or celebration of life, or case just closed at the end of the road, or made it to grandmother's house. At 1:24, the masculine, the magician, or that leap of faith to the 24 of the Queen of Wands. And the 43 in the labyrinth, the man with health or healthcare issues, and a loving woman present with gifts, and truth to nurse them back to health. Coming together, each in their own time and path, the 16 of the Six of Cups, and the sudden supernova of soul ties when they hit the core, and the man with sudden concerns, 33, of standing up for themselves. The 2 of the main female and the 35 wounded warrior, cutting anchor and free to fly. The 27 inspired by unexpected income or incoming or exchange of hands, with the 2 of the divine feminine or higher self, and the 6 of pentacles sharing their luck or exchanging wishes, with the 26 Page of Wands of great wealth or golden globe, inspired number 14 with the 9 of Wands wounded warrior Saggy Fox leaving the hen house for a higher love. The 21 of the mountain that's whole and complete, world and Pisces with Buck waiting at the bottom. The 9 of the hermit and hermiting changes are moving on up. The 7 with a message or sealed document to open or return to sender, with Pisces, Scorpio, Saggy, Virgo, and Cancer. Perhaps Libra and Saggy and Aquarius and Leo are part of the Wounded Warrior's path. The underlying energy at 134, 34 being that energetic exchange and arrows of love, is the Fool that's freed by or from the King of Swords and their fixedness, as the Page of Pentacles invites the Devil or temptation or Capricorn in, or the King of Swords invites Capricorn, Scorpio, Pisces to partner with them, or the King of Swords is learning to discern after partnering with unnatural death or dark night, or literally until death do us part and wanting to kill them, or dark night leaving ball and chain behind for the divine feminine catch or Scorpio to visit Pisces and the Nine of Pentacles sovereign and Knight of Wands rushing in, or two knights coming to visit at the same time in a bold move to be happy or to make someone happy, the Queen of Swords with a message from the Emperor. Or the Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords chat as the Emperor listens in with Judge or Justice and the King of Wands, or Aries and Libra and or mediation or court hearing as the King of Wands with Magician or representation, with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Swords out of the gate, or the Knight of Swords is charging a Page of Cups child as the Queen of Wands looks to the High Priestess or sister with Hermit's advice, or Pisces and Virgo. Oh, that's interesting, because advertisement just came up with the lion gold bar. So the lion's coming up again there too. And the King of Pentacles moving forward after giving them advice, or the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Wands to the Queen of Pentacles, or inspired by the Queen of Pentacles, giving options or giving them to soul ties, siblings, children, or those being loving with the Queen of Cups, but then the King of Cups is on guard with them as I cough. Or the Wounded Warrior Nine of Wands is getting between the King and Queen of Cups, or playing the victim, or the King of Cups is leaving the Wounded Warrior behind, stressing them out, or unable to sleep, in a home adventure, in devotion to the little ones with challenges in family matters, and the Wounded Warrior's path to grandmother's house that's lined with transformation and purging, as the Empress lover or missing mother's affections, and the King of Cups gets past the grieving process to love again. As the path transforms in the age of Aquarius and death of ego, and age of Adeline was coming up too, both Taurus and Gemini, or the Empress mother and twin, in the rise of laughter and death of the roar, as the Knight of Cups cries out, "Thar she blows," as the lion yawns and the mother's nature roar turns to lamb and then to father, or lambda, in a lion-lamb exchange of supernova proportion. A star is born. In removing the thorns from the crown, it wasn't just their paw, the thorns in the mind preventing heaven there, like a bear trap on their mane at 2:04, the High Priestess or Divine Feminine, and the 4 of the Emperor, and the Lambda Leap, pulling the hair out of their head, being willing to give up the 3D crown, or being the crucified one, hanging up the thorns, or the King of Cups can't sleep with the Empress until blessed by Gabriel or the Sun, or has mother's blessing to propose at 2:08. So Mr. Ed Horse Stories was coming out, and then Ponytails as well. The Boot of Italy and the Alps, the Crown, and the Effort of the Eagle, US, and Triumph over Troubles, with the underlying energy of the mountain to overcome. The Tankard, Celebration, Fun, and Enjoying the Harp and the Mug, the great happiness of strumming your pain with their fingers. And again, the Stone and the Lyra, or lyre, instrument like the harp, and the Vortex of Italy, France, and Switzerland, which comes up as Courmayeur as well. Ponytails, straight from the horse's mouth, going on a treasure hunt where X marks the spot, which is also a stain. And again, a kick in the pants to rise and to dive with the three keys, or the 3 gamma waves, the tree keys, the tree house, chez moi, down and around with a pinch of the boot and the squeeze of the eagle with the tropical breeze, a boomerang effect with Bloody Marys ×3, and gotcha. All it takes is mountains and 3 drinks. So someone's saying that they're lightweight. So the Boots constellation came up, which is the herdsman, the ox, the driver, the brightest star Arcturus there, and Boots is between Draco and Virgo, contrasting double star of Izar and Arcturus, third to Sirius and Canopus. So Boo was coming up as Boots, their nickname, and 2 hunting dogs on a leash with club in the other hand. Driving the oxen in Ursa Major, followed by his 2 dogs, Astrion and Chara. The oxen are tied to the polar axis, and their movement keeps the skier, or the skies, maybe it is a skier for someone, it keeps the skies in constant rotation. So Boots is Arcas, the son of Zeus, and Callisto, daughter of the Arcadian king, is it Lycaon or Lycaon? Arcas brought up by grandfather, the king, who tested Zeus by serving him his own son for a meal. Zeus saw through their intent and transformed the cruel king to a wolf, struck down all his sons with thunderbolts, and brought Arcas back to life. So Hera, Zeus's wife, hearing of their disloyalty, transformed Callisto into a bear, roaming the woods until met her son grown up. Arcas chased her not knowing, and Callisto hid in a temple. To avoid a tragedy, Zeus placed them both in the sky. Callisto, Ursa Major, and Arcas as Boots. Another story is that he's the inverted plow, so goddess Ceres placed him in the heavens, and another was Icarius, grape grower, got the secret of wine from Dionysus, but his friends thought he tried to poison them and kill them. Arcturus, the guardian of the bear, the left foot of the herdsman, next to the bear constellation Ursa Major and Minor. 3 bright stars of the Big Dipper handle that lead to Arcturus here. And again, the nickname of Boots being Boo, so that might be significant for someone. And there's something that's coming up in the story about that may trigger someone to understand something. And Boots was also coming up online, right? Like Puss in Boots. And also the 5.5-year-old monkey who speaks English and holds Dora's hands. And Aquila, the eagle, came up as well, the herdsman and the eagle, because they all came up at the end of the read. The other side of Hercules between Aquila and Boots. The eagle to Gary Zeus's thunderbolts. And again, Ganymede, the Trojan boy he desired, represented by Aquarius. The eagle is also the guard of the arrow of Eros, or Sagitta, that hit Zeus and made him love-struck. The eagle perches on Hercules, and the herdsman travels upon her, harvest, grounding them both. She the vehicle of their ascension, the cup equaling the stone, or the stain, or the stein, and the lyra, the harp, the sword, the wine and the song, the tone and the word. As then Roe versus Wade came up after that, and just some messages that were coming up. And 888, the number 387, which I looked up, and the first entry was 888, which I always describe as the twin flames coming together, because you're the 2 8s dancing side by side, which then get knocked over by the third 8, which becomes that continual 8 between you. The 8, the end is near, Pearl Harbor. Tripoli was also coming up, Sons of God, the Book of Enoch. Yeah, some interesting symbols were coming up there. And umbrella. Yeah, and the saber-toothed tiger. Top dog, sky root, time out to rain. The saber-tooth, destined root. To know, to taste, like, enjoy, the eye tooth. So, there's some quick messages here of intuition, of self-care, release, mastery. Use your intuition so that you know. Clear your field and focus on self before acting. Radical acceptance and surrender to help let go. You've learned the spiritual lesson. With underlying energy of proposal and inspiration, leading to the star or dreams coming true, healing, that the hard times are over. And there's a romantic or business opportunity to look forward to happiness and enthusiasm, abundant positivity. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that because we're already in an hour. But I will pick a quick message of love card from the oracle cards here. So we'll pick from this deck here, message of love, oracles. It's so nice out today. It's beautiful. And this is that time of day where it smells really good. All right, just a quick takeaway for these first two messages. What is your message? And that came right out. All right, denial. Detach with love to clearly see the truth. Here and now, your true love is already part of your life. Go slow, take time to get to know each other. This relationship can stand the test of time. The underlying energy at the bottom of the deck here is longing. Someone is secretly yearning for you. Okay, so there's your takeaway from those first two messages from April 10th and 11th. Rise and be loved, guys. Bye.